Rightio, 5 hidden costs that you need to know about before you purchase your first property. What I just want to say really quickly though, a quick disclaimer is that I'm not telling you not to purchase a property. Real estate is amazing. Real estate has changed my life. It is such an amazing asset and I have absolutely no regrets. However, knowledge is power and there are 5 hidden costs that you need to know about. Step 1, let's start with the largest expense outside of obviously purchasing the property and your deposit. The number one expense that you want to factor into that is a hidden cost that a lot of people don't realize is stamp duty. Now stamp duty there is some exemptions out there for stamp duty. If you are a first home buyer in certain states up to a certain amount, then you will be exempt from stamp duty. However, if you're not, you still need to know about this because this is something that could be, and I've seen in my time, is a complete deal breaker. So price-wise, what are we talking about? Price-wise, how much are we talking about? In New South Wales currently, on a $750,000 purchase, if you have to pay stamp duty on that full amount, it is roughly $28,000. Now it is a sliding scale, but that's a large expense that I have seen personally people pull out of a deal because they just didn't factor into that amount of money on top of the purchase price. Hidden cost number 2, you're going to have a conveyancer or a solicitor to legally transfer that property into your name. So what a conveyancer does outside of legally transferring the title from the current owner's name into your name is they will look at things on the contract of sale, which is like a 42-page document that you do not know what is in there, and it's going to say things like easements, covenants, restriction of that property, you know, whether or not you're allowed to have a pool, where you could put that pool, what you're allowed to do with the property, what the zoning is, massive things like, is it in a flood zone? Is it in a fire zone? Are there certain things that you're not allowed to do with the property? Are there certain things you can do with the property? So it is highly valuable to have a good conveyancer or solicitor on your side working for you throughout this transition. Now they also do things in the back end of the deal like negotiate on behalf of you. So they would do things like say you want to exchange a property but you're subject to the sale of your property, they would legally put some things in the contract to help you push out timeframes for settlement. Say you want a 6-month contract because you're waiting for your lease to finish. At the end of the day, they can save you thousands of dollars for working legally for you. Definitely talk to a good conveyancer or solicitor. Number 3, and this is the fun one, so building and pest inspection. So I know a lot of people do the whole, oh look, I don't mind, I don't need a building and pest inspection. It's optional in New South Wales where we work and live. However, what I would say is for a tiny fee, one of the smallest fees out of all these hidden costs, do your due diligence and get a building and pest inspector. Here's a good story. I purchased my first property years ago in Gold Coast, and the real estate agent, as great as he was, I'm not making any allegations, but he provided the building and pest report, yeah? We purchased the property and apparently the bathroom had a little bit of moisture report, but that's because it had been used repeatedly. Even though the property was vacant, I was none the wiser. I was like, whatever, a little bit of moisture in the bathroom, no biggie. It's a bathroom, right? We purchased the property and we found out it needed a major bathroom repair. It was a second story, so the second story is actually all rotten. It wasn't just the bottom of the house. So it turned out to be a huge, like $10,000 to $15,000 job that we didn't have, right? This was our first property. We couldn't even live in it. We had to rent it out. We were that broke after purchasing it. So we wish I had done a little bit more due diligence, spent around it. In our area, it's around the $500 to $600 for a building and pest report. Now that can vary as well. It was probably only $300 back then. So I skipped down at that and I found out the hard way. Not get your uncles, dads, mums, dogs, cats, friends, brother. Should be right, mate. That attitude does not work. The should be right, mate, is not a good attitude when you're purchasing your first or biggest asset. Rightio, step number 4. So let's talk about lender's mortgage insurance. Now, if you do not have a 20% deposit, what was that? If you do not have a 20% deposit, you're going to incur a fee from the bank called lender's mortgage insurance. I'm not going to go into what it is, you can look it up, but basically it's the fee that you will incur that's pushed onto you from the bank because you don't have the full 20% deposit to purchase that property, which in this day and age is super common. Now, in all my transactions I've personally ever done, I've always used lender's mortgage insurance because I see a lot more value in either paying that fee or capitalizing that fee into the loan with the bank and pay it off over time and getting my foot in the market and riding that property growth that I have seen in my properties. Again, don't let it be a deterrent, however, just know about it. Hidden cost number 5. Now, it's not super common, but let's talk about buyer's agents. Now, in Australia, especially in the regional areas where I work personally in the regional areas, a buyer's agent is very rare. It's not very common. However, as a real estate agent, I definitely see value. Even though they're kind of our competitors, they work on the other side, I do think we can work together. So what a good buyer's agent does is they're going to work for you as the buyer for a nominal fee to essentially negotiate on your behalf, right? They're going to know a good area, know where to buy, view the property on your behalf, organise things like building and pest inspections, understand zoning and laws around that property, what you can and can't do with it, and advise you through that transaction. Put it this way, if a buyer's agent is negotiating on your behalf and gets you a $30,000 reduction in a good area with the conditions that you want for a nominal fee of whatever they charge, I think that is a very good investment. Again, you need to get a good buyer's agent that doesn't have a vested interest in pushing their own stock and going, oh, here's a great one because I know the owner. They have to have an independent perspective on that property. As long as they're independent, I definitely see a key point. Now, price-wise, how much is the cost of having a buyer's agent? Again, it's not common in my area, so I can't comment there. But from my knowledge of the industry, I would say it would be anywhere from a couple of $1,000s right through to 2 to 3% of the value or the purchase of the property, which again can seem like quite a lot of money. However, if they're truly acting in your best interest and save you tens of thousands of dollars, then hey, it could be worth it. I just want to finish this. I don't want to deter anyone from purchasing a property. At the end of the day, I sell properties. I love real estate and it has changed my life. Knowledge is power. And you're better off going into a transaction knowing full and well what is in front of you throughout the process than finding out these hidden costs that some of us have had to learn the hard way. So if you need any more information, if you have any questions, or if you want to know anything further about real estate, feel free to comment below, hit like and subscribe, follow along, or touching on any of the other social media platforms we're on. Always here to help. We absolutely love this stuff. Cheers.